Hello and welcome. Today we are going to interview Jehan Daruvala, Formula 3 winner, Formula 2 winner, first Indian driver to win in Formula 2, and now he is the only rookie in Formula E during this season. So Jehan, thank you for giving us the opportunity. I would like to start with some questions from the community of the channel. The first one is a little obvious. This guy is asking who is Jehan Daruvala, but I think we can answer that question during the interview. So I will pass that and ask this one. Is there some ritual for new beginners in Formula E, and what do you expect for this season?
I would not say there's any such rituals as such. Obviously, as a rookie in Formula E, I would say it's probably one of the hardest championships in the world to come in and do well. So the main thing is to always, integrate well with the team, use the experience of all the engineers, also your teammate, and try to get up to speed as quickly as possible. So I think that is the main target in your rookie year as a Formula E driver.
What has been the big difference that you have noticed as a rookie, and why is this championship so difficult for rookies and for people who come from Formula 2? The adaptation, how is going? How is going until now?
Obviously, so far the season hasn't been easy for sure. Always trying to improve. I think slowly the things are getting better. Obviously, the goal for the coming races is to move and try to score some points. I think obviously the home race in Misano will be super fun. A home race for the team.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to be back on track next weekend and race at a track that I've been before in the past and had good success there before as well. So yeah, hopefully I can score my first points next time out in Misano.
How common it is for one driver to use another setting?
Honestly, I would say like most of the time you start off with the same base settings like in the beginning of the season, and then certain drivers prefer their own settings and setup, so you kind of have the same offset on every track you go to when you start the weekend. uh, and yeah, if you prefer his settings, you can always go back and change, and yeah, so that's not really a problem. But I would say we have our own individual settings, like me and Max, that we prefer, and kind of always start off with that for every weekend.
Do you have a simulator at home?
Yes, I had one. I had one in London, not anymore. But yeah, I had one for 6 or 7 years in my flat.
It is a big difference between simulator and the race itself, or not?
I would say the simulator I have at home is not specific for Formula E. Yeah, so it's not the best. In for Formula 2 and Formula 3, that simulator was good. So the best sim that I have to use right now is the one in Monaco that I go for all my preparations with the team. This one is the closest possible you can get to the real car.
What was the moment which made you decide you want to be a racing driver?
I would say I was always like quite passionate about racing. I would say when it became really serious is when I was one of the three winners of the Force India 1 in a Billion program. I was only 13 years old at the time and I had to shift to the UK. I love being at home in India, so it was a big decision for me to move here. And that's when I knew in my head that yeah, I'm making all these sacrifices, so I want to make sure that I pursue racing as my career.
How difficult it has been for you as a rookie in Formula E? What is the main difference?
For sure, it is different. It is very difficult. Clearly, Max, my teammate, has had a good season so far, so it shows that we have a good car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy as a rookie. In the end, uh, a lot of other rookies have struggled as well in the past, especially in the races. From my side, I expect to be a bit uh, faster than I was last weekend. My goal is to make it into the duels as much as possible, and fight for points in most of the races going ahead. So I think those are quite realistic targets. Yeah, to be in the points consistently, and I think that will give me confidence to then fight for podium.
What about your appendix? Are you willing to remove it?
My appendix. I would rather have my appendix in than out. To be honest, if it's gonna make me win a Formula E World Championships, then why not?
No matter what happens, you will stay with an appendix.
Uh,
No, no. Of course, not.
no,
I
I mean,
mean,
if you told me that if I remove my appendix and I would win the Formula E World Championship, then I would say yes.
What driver do you feel more affinity? Max Verstappen or Lewis Hamilton?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to answer it. Honestly, both of them are super. Obviously, Hamilton is seven-time world champion. Max is also multiple world champion. So if I have any of their traits in me, then I will be pretty happy. But I cannot, particularly say that I'm more like Max or more like Lewis. In the end, if I have any of their racing, like, yeah, potential in me, then it's good either way.
I want to know if a reserve driver receive some payment or they do it just for.
I guess it just depends on your contract. I guess some drivers do, some drivers don't. But it just depends on how much time they have to commit to the team. But I would say I would say 18 or 90% reserve drivers, they do get some money. Yes.
What is the main difference between Formula E, Formula 2, or a Formula 1 car?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. Formula E car is very different to Formula One because there's no downforce. Uh, but there's a lot of systems in the car which in the end you can fine tune. In the end, I guess in Formula E, you drive on super narrow tracks. You drive in the city in streets, so you do need a car which is super direct, which steers well. That is good over bumps. So yeah, it's completely different philosophy to a Formula One car. But yeah, in the end, again, it just depends what the driver likes and what the driver is comfortable. Because yeah, like I said, you drive so close to the walls that in the end, the driver confidence sometimes makes more of a difference than the general setup of the car.
It's something that you have to get used to the walls since you have been driving in normal
Yeah,
circuit.
I would say we obviously drove in Monaco and Baku and stuff in F2, but the street circuits in Formula E are super narrow, so much more tight than I'm used to back in Formula 2. But in the end, it's the same for everyone. And yeah, there's not much to say. It's actually really fun to drive on these tracks with super no room for mistakes, no room for error, and yeah, a lot of adrenaline when you drive on such narrow tracks through such beautiful cities and in the heart of the city. So yeah, it's a very cool experience.
As someone from India, Indian drivers has a lot of people behind them, but the way is always hard. How is it for you until now?
Yeah, it's difficult because I would say in India we don't have the correct infrastructure. We don't have a pathway for young go-karters to like start racing in India, stay in India, and progress through the ladder. So most young karters like me, they start karting in India and slowly they move to Asia and then to Europe. The heart of racing is here in Europe. It's probably the most competitive you can get in the worldwide, and it's where you learn the most. So yeah, I would say apart from that, also it's super. it's not easy for, I would say, Indian parents in general to support their kids, especially for an unknown sport like motorsport. So in my case, I have been lucky that my parents have been able to support me from day one, and let me follow my dreams. So yeah, I think a combination of both is what makes it quite difficult.
Well, Jehan, I will say thank you again for the opportunity. I don't want you to feel tired of something like that. I know it's time to eat or take a lunch. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I usually do it in these hours. So again, thank you very much to you and all your team for giving us the opportunity. Anything you have to add for for?
No, I'm happy.
Thank you
I'm
for your
happy
time.
to.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lizzie. Thank you very
Thank,
much.
Bye
thank you.
bye.